Did you know that what you believe is always in a delicate dance with what you know and how you feel? Over the past month, I've been watching a reality TV love show, Perfect Match Extra, Season 3, and it stirred something within me. One major observation stood out. The art of liking or disliking people is truly a balancing act. No one is entirely good or bad. We often choose people not because they're flawless, but because we decide to focus more on their good than their flaws. Their goodness doesn't erase their faults. It just makes them easier to overlook. In the PM Extra house, the calmest guy found himself building a connection with arguably the loudest girl. Even from the beginning, it felt like a mismatch. You could sense it, right? Long story short, the bond didn't last. Eventually, the guy moved on to a new housemate, someone quieter, more reserved, and seemingly more compatible. But what that bond between the calm guy and the loud girl did to my mind is something I've struggled to understand. From the onset, I didn't believe they'd work. She seemed too overpowering. She had what I'd call red flags, especially if the guy was seeking someone respectful and emotionally balanced. But slowly, I began to see a different side of her. I saw a woman defending her man in arguments, doing his laundry, going soft when they were alone, and genuinely trying to love him. Despite her many red flags, which were still so loud and clear, I began to root for them. So much so that when the guy decided to move on, I was devastated. Can you believe that? I mean, the guy is my favorite, and it seems he's finally found someone his type, but instead of being happy for him, I was rather devastated. That may sound dramatic, but it's the truth. Now that I reflect on it, my real issue wasn't just that the ship sank, nor was it about how much potential I thought those two had with whatever situationship they were in. It was how easily my mind had shifted. I was shocked by how my own beliefs about love had changed in just a week, so much so that when things ended, I found it hard to enjoy the show altogether. That's when I had a realization. We often have no idea how vulnerable our minds are, how easily swayed we can be by emotion, fantasy, or momentary fascination. And when what we believed in falls apart, we don't just feel disappointed. We feel deceived, not by others, but by ourselves. I've come to accept that it's okay to be wrong. About people, about moments, even about the things you once felt sure of. You could be a believer in love, truth, or fantasy, but you'll still be wrong at times, and that's fine. That's part of growth. Life isn't a test where you must always choose the right answer. It's more of a journey where even the wrong turns reveal something worthwhile. We grow not just by being right, but by realizing where we've misjudged, where our beliefs might have been built on weak foundations. It's humbling truth. Being wrong doesn't mean you've failed. It means you've learned. And sometimes, what we learn in those humbling moments can shape us more than all our moments of certainty. Think about it. You could spend weeks, even months, rooting for someone, convinced they're the one for the person you support, only to find out later that the connection was never as deep or healthy as you imagined. That realization stings not because you were wrong, but because you cared deeply. And caring, even if misjudged, is never weakness. It shows your heart is alive, responsive, open to possibility. But it also reminds us how delicate belief is. It shifts, it adapts, and sometimes it clings to the hope of what could be rather than accepting what truly is. I thought I saw growth in that girl. I thought I saw the signs of love blooming. Maybe I did, or maybe I just wanted to see it. Maybe I projected goodness onto her actions because I wanted the story to end a certain way. That's what belief does. It bends reality ever so slightly to suit the version of the story we want to tell ourselves. And that's okay. What matters most is being honest enough to admit when the illusion fades and brave enough to let it go. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to wake up one day and realize the couple or idea you were rooting for was never meant to be. That shift in perspective is not betrayal of your past self. It's proof that you're growing, evolving, learning to see things with clearer eyes. Sometimes, to protect our illusions, we build theories, stories that make us feel in control, that give meaning to what's happening. We like to think we know, that we can see ahead, that our judgments are accurate. But what if we're wrong? Yes, it's comforting to feel certain. It's satisfying to predict something and be right. But that certainty can also rob us of new experiences. Imagine spending your whole life believing something must be done a certain way, only to later discover far better, more fulfilling alternatives. The British philosopher Bertrand Russell once said, "I would never die for my beliefs because I might be wrong." That quote hit me hard. It wasn't just about being skeptical. It was about recognizing how flawed human knowledge can be. Think about it. If all you know is what someone else taught you, how credible is your belief? Really? What if they were wrong? What if they misunderstood what was taught before them? What if they just told you how they saw it, not how it really was? Going back to the love story, since the guy moved on, I've had time to rewatch old clips, this time with a clear mind, free of emotional bias. And honestly, most days they were a terrible couple. If she wasn't yelling at him, she was mocking how slow he was to others. She rarely validated his feelings. It was like she was always right in her own world, while he couldn't catch a break. And yet, I rooted for that. Looking back, I'm stunned by how emotionally invested I became. I truly believe they had the most potential, despite all the signs. I genuinely believed I was picking up on cues from conversations between those two, cues that weren't ordinary to every viewer of the show. Little did I know, it really was all in my head. Beliefs can be powerful, but also dangerously misleading. Here's the advice I take from all of this. If I were the guy, maybe I wouldn't have left her. I believe in fighting for love, especially when I sense someone is beginning to soften toward me. But to be honest, I wouldn't have started something with someone waving that many red flags in the first place. I only justify staying because, by then, I'd already gotten emotionally entangled. Perhaps you're like me, someone who tries to make things work no matter what. But truthfully, you can't build something meaningful with someone who constantly invalidates your feelings. Let's be guided by that. Today, as at the time of recording this, those two don't even speak. She feels used. He feels unappreciated. And I've learned one major thing from their short-lived situationship. Sometimes it's not about what you see in someone. It's about what you choose to see. And the scariest part? You might be seeing what you want, not what is.